Gemma from Cardi Crochet, and today I am here to give you a full-length tutorial on how to make the Blossom Breeze cardigan, as I am so lovingly modelling. Now, this sleeveless cardigan is made out of these lovely lacy flower motifs that you can see here. There are 3 sizes which cover, so the smallest size covers extra small, small and medium. The next size is large, extra large and 2x large, and the final 3rd size is 3XL, 4XL and 5XL. So the motifs are different sizes depending on which size you're making. So if you're making the smallest size, the extra small, small, medium, then your motif will be 5.5 inches. If you're making the large, extra large 2XL, then your motif is going to be 6 inches across, like square. And if you're making the 3, 4, 5XL size, then your motifs are going to be 6.25 inches across. So it's important that you meet the gauge for your so make one of the motifs and check the sizing, and if it's not the size once it's been blocked, then you'll need to try again with a bigger or a smaller hook size. So the yarn I used for this is it's going to be backwards, isn't it? It's the Maya Catania. So it's 100% cotton, and it's a fine, 2-weight cotton. So you'll want to find something, any cotton or cotton blend mix will be great for this, but it needs to be a fine weight. And I also used a 4mm crochet hook, which is a bigger size than is recommended for this yarn, but it means that it's a lot lacier and looser. So that's all good. Oh, where's the next page? My notes on the wrong page, sorry. There are lots more details on this pattern in the written pattern. So there's a premium PDF pattern that you can buy, which I'll link in the comments below. There's also it's also on my blog for free, but you don't get as much detail in that. You don't get the schematic, and you don't get so much in the way of the sizing details, but everything is there, so you will be able to make it from that as well. And hopefully you can just follow along in the video too, because I've filmed everything that I've done, so it should be nice and easy to follow along. So the cardigan can be made any length, really. I detail 3 different lengths. I'm just going to show you on my cardigan. So you can see that this is the shortest length, and it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 motifs long. So you can do 5 motifs, you can do 6 motifs, or you can do 7 motifs long. So that then means that you'll need 30 motifs for this length, for length 1, 36 for length 2, and 42 for length 3. But you can equally make it shorter or longer just by adding or taking away 6 motifs at a time. So I think that's it. Let's get started. So I'm going to show you how to make the smallest motif size for the cardigan. So this is for extra small, small and medium, and then I'll show you at the end how to make the motifs bigger to fit for the other larger sizes. So there's 2 other large sizes. There's the large, extra large 2XL, and then there's 3XL, 4XL, 5XL. Because it's a loose fitting cardigan, it will fit for all. So there's just 3 different motif sizes, and I'm going to show you the smallest one now. I'm going to be working with Maya Catania, which is a fine weight yarn. It recommends 2.5 to 3.5 mil, but I'm going to use a 4mm hook, which makes it a bit more lacy and drape a bit nicer, I think. And it's a cotton yarn, so because this is a nice loose summer cardigan. I'm using cotton, and it is colour 263. I can't remember what it's actually called, but you'll be able to find it based on that. So let's make a start with the motif. So I'm going to start with a magic circle. If you don't know how to do a magic circle, I've got I think 2 tutorials on my YouTube channel for magic circles. Otherwise, just yeah, do one. And then I'm going to work 6 single crochet into the ring. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh yes, I'm using US terms. If you're in the UK, a single crochet is a double crochet, so 6 double crochet into that ring, and then pull the ring tight. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Have I got 6? I haven't got 6. Dearie me. I need to get my last one in there. Hang on a minute, I've not got around the end now. This is a good start, isn't it? Do you know what I'm doing, honest? Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So then I'm going to slip stitch into that first stitch, like that, and pull that through. So then we're going to chain 1. Then what we're going to do is we're going to do 2 single crochets in the back loops only into each stitch around. So just going into that back loop, so there's 2 in each, which will make 12 in total. And we'll just do that all the way around. I'd love for you to make one of these with me, so if you are, do follow along. Make sure you make a motif first, just to get your sizing right. Do your tension swatch and block it. So just follow these instructions to make the motif, and then we can and then you can measure it. So each motif for the small size should be 5.5 inches square, or 14 centimeters. So that's my 12. I'm going to slip stitch into that first stitch again through both loops, and pull that through, and that's our center of our flower. I'm going to chain 4, and we're going to do a treble. So this is a US treble, so it's a UK double treble. So wrap your yarn around your hook twice and insert into that first stitch, and then you're going to yarn over and pull through 2, 3 times, and then we're going to do another one in the same stitch, and actually we're going to do in total 3 in that same stitch. And that first chain 4 also counts as a treble here. So there you go, you've got 4, effectively 4 trebles. And then we're going to chain 2, and we're going to skip one of this stitch here, skip that stitch, and we're going to do 4 trebles into the next stitch. And we're going to repeat that all the way around. So chain 2, skip a stitch, and 4 trebles into the next stitch. I quite like doing trebles. People often kind of shy away a bit from taller stitches, but yeah, just keep your tension even and make sure it doesn't twist, and I think it looks quite nice. So I've done my chain 2, I've skipped that stitch, and I'm going to do my treble into the next stitch. As I said, I'm using cotton yarn, which can be a bit tougher on the hands to work with than acrylic, but it's really nice for the summer, nice and cool on your skin, and nice to work with in the summer as well. You don't want to be working with a hot thick acrylic or wool or anything in the summer, so this is a really nice yarn to work with. I'm making my cardigan all the same colour. Obviously you can make yours however you like. You could do each round of the motif in different colours, or you could do different motifs in different colours. You could make it as a stash buster, which obviously I really love stash busters, using up whatever yarn you've got. Obviously make sure it's the same weight and ideally the same material, so cotton or acrylic or whatever. Otherwise it might be a bit hit and miss, especially for washing it and things like that. So I think I'm on my last one now for treble cluster, shall we say. So we should have 6. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll do my last chain 2, and then I'm going to do a slip stitch into the top of my chain 4 here, just like that. Squeeze it through, or not. Let's try again. It's very tight for some reason. There we go. Right, so on to the next round. This is going to be round 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to chain 4, and then we're going to do a 3 treble together, treble 3 together, shall we call it. Anyway, yarn around your hook twice, insert into that next stitch, so not the chain, the second one of the 4, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2, but don't do the final yarn over and pull through 2. Then we're going to wrap our hook, wrap our yarn around our hook twice again, insert into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, then yarn over twice, insert into the final of those 4 trebles from the row below, and then pull through all of those for the final stitch. Then I'm going to chain 5, and I'm going to do a single crochet into that chain 2 space between the treble groups, treble clusters I guess, and then chain 5. Then we're going to do a 4 treble together, so yarn over twice, insert into that first treble, yarn over and pull through, then yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, so you've got 2 loops left on your hook, yarn over twice, insert into the next stitch and pull through a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and you've got 3 loops on your hook. Then we're going to yarn over twice again, insert into that next stitch, yarn over and pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and then again yarn over twice, insert into the next stitch and pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So then we've got 4 half done trebles, and we've got 5 loops on our hook. So then we yarn over and we pull through all 5 loops, and then we're going to do 5 chains. Single crochet into the chain 2 space and 5 chains. And then we're going to do our 4 trebles together, treble 4 together. I don't know how to say it. So, There we go, and then we pull through all of them. Oh, lost my yarn on the floor and it's making a silly noise. Right, then we're going to chain 5 again. And we're just going to repeat that all the way around. So single crochet into that chain 2 space, 5 chains, and then our 4 treble together. So there's a few options for this cardigan. You can change the length of it. So I've got 3 lengths in the pattern, in the written pattern, which you can get for free on my blog, or you can download it from Ravelry and Etsy. Obviously the premium pattern has a lot more detail in it. It's got schematics and step-by-step tutorials of the stitches and things like that. So I'd really recommend getting the paid pattern. And that gives you the options for the 3 different lengths. Basically, you just need to make different number of motifs. So for the smallest size, the small, medium, no, extra small, small, medium size, you need to make 36. Is it 36? I think it's 30 squares, 30 motifs. For the next size, the large, extra large 2XL, you need to make 36 motifs, and these motifs are a bigger size motif. No, I'm lying. Right, for the different lengths, that's what I was talking about. Can't crochet and talk at the same time, apparently. Anyhow, I'll talk about that in a minute. I've got to the end. So we're just doing final 5 crochet, 5 chain stitches to finish. So I've done that, and then I'm going to join that to the top of my first treble 4 together with a slip stitch like that. Okay, so then we are going to chain 9, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and I am going to join that to the top of that with a single crochet like that, and we're going to repeat that again. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we're just going around and we're joining to the top of each flower point, and that's going to make this into a circle. 7, 8, 9. So in terms of the length, there's 3 different lengths that you can make your cardigan, and depending what length depends how many motifs you need to make. For the smallest length, the shortest one, which is about bottom length, you need to make 30. And for the next length, which is about mid thigh, you need 36, and for the longest one, which is just above your knee, then you'll need 42 motifs. And as I said, each motif is a slightly different size, depending on what size you want to make. Alright, how are we doing? Have we got all the way around? One more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So close. 8, 9. Right, so then we're going to slip stitch that final one to the top of the first first point of the flower. Right, so there you go. Now I've got a circle. Obviously these motifs will definitely need blocking because they are a bit wibbly when you're making them, but once they've been blocked they look beautiful. So on to the next round. We're going to chain 1, then we're going to make 16 single crochets into this 9 chain space. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. You might have to squidge them up a bit. 15, 16. There we go. Right, so that's what it's going to look like that. So I want you to go around and do 16 single crochet into each of those chain 9 spaces all the way around, and I'll see you back when I've done mine. Okay, so I've gone all the way around, as you can see. I'm just going to now slip stitch into the first stitch to join, and then we're going to start making it into a square. So chain 1, then you're going to do 4 single crochet, so the first one into that same stitch. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we're going to do a 3 half double crochets. 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to do 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. So that's 3 double crochets, and now we're going to do 2 trebles. Okay, and then we're going to do 3 chains. So this is the corner, and then we're going to do 2 trebles into the next 2 spaces. Stitches. So this is moving on to the second side. I'll do the whole of this side, and then you can repeat it around. So that's 2 trebles. Then we're going to do 3 doubles. And then 3 half doubles. And then we've got 8 single crochet. Four, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then we go up the other side, so we do our 3 half doubles. 1, 2, 3, and our 3 doubles. 1, 2, 3, and finally our 2 trebles. And then we can do our 3 chains for the corner and then carry on the next side. so you can kind of see that it's turning into a square. It is a bit bobbly, but once you block it, it comes out nice and even. And obviously you're going to sew it to other squares, so it will be even by the end of it, so don't worry about that. Yeah, so just carry on, do your other sides, and obviously the final side you'll just be doing half back to the middle, so 2 trebles, 3 doubles, 3 half doubles, and 4 single crochets, and I'll see you when we get there. Okay, so I've gone all the way around, and as you can see, it's now a square. So I'm going to slip stitch into the first stitch of that round just to join it, and then we've got one more round to go for the small size, which I will show you. So chain 1, and then we're going to single crochet in every stitch around. So I'll just go up to the corner and show you the corner, and then I can leave you to it to complete your motif. Okay, so that's up to the corner. So then we're going, in the corner space, we're going to do a single crochet, chain 2, and then another single crochet, and that's your corner stitch. And then you're going to carry on all the way around doing exactly the same, single crochet into every stitch, and then in each corner you're going to do a single crochet, 2 chains, and another single crochet. Okay, so I've gone all the way around. I'm just going to do a final slip stitch into the first stitch to join and pull through, and that will be it. So that's your motif for the small, extra small, small and medium size. It should be 5.5 inches across, 5.5 inches up down square. As I said, you need to make 30 of those if you're making the short length, 36 if you're making the medium length, and 42 for the longer length cardigan. And now I'm going to show you how to make your square bigger for the large, extra large, and 2XL size. Okay, so if you want to make the middle size, so that's the size that's going to fit large, extra large, and 2XL, then you need to make your motifs exactly the same for rounds 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, like this, and then round 8 is going to be as so. So we're going to chain 4. Then we're going to skip the next stitch, so not the stitch that the chain's in, not the next one, and then we're going to do a double crochet into that next stitch. Okay, then we're going to chain 1 and double crochet, skip 1 stitch and double crochet into the next one, and that's the pattern all the way around. So chain 1, skip a stitch, double crochet into the next stitch. So this is going to make your squares to be 6 inches diameter rather than the 5.5 of the smaller size. So that's the pattern that we're looking for. And when you get to the corner, so I've done a DC and a chain 1, so I'm skipping this stitch, and then I'm going to do a DC in the corner space, chain 1, another DC in the corner space, chain 1, and another DC in the corner space, and chain 1. So you've got 3 DCs and chain 1s in that corner space. Then to start the next row, you're not going to skip a stitch. You're going to go into that very first stitch of the next side, and then it's the same all the way across. So chain 1, skip a stitch, DC into the next stitch, chain 1, skip a stitch, DC into that next one. Okay, so that is our round 8, and that's how it's going to look. And that will be the last round if you are making the large, extra large and 2XL size. Okay. Okay, so I've gone all the way around and I've done my last chain one. So I'm just going to show you the join. So we're going to join into the 3rd chain of the 4 chain that we started with. So I'm just going through both loops of that and just slip stitching to finish it off. So that is the completed square for your large, extra large and 2XL size. So you'll need to make the right number for the length that you're making, either 30, 36 or 42 motifs like this. And once you've done them all, then you can block them and join them in strips, as I'll show you in the next video. Well, in a minute kind of thing. If you are making the 2XL, 3XL, 4XL, no, 3XL, 4XL, 5XL size, then you need to complete your square exactly like this, and then you want to add on one more round. So this is going to be round 9 for the 3XL, 4XL, 5XL size. So we're going to chain 1. We're going to do a single crochet into that same stitch, which is a bit fiddly to get into the top of that DC once all the slip stitch and the chain are in there. And then we're going to do a single crochet into the chain 1 space and a single crochet into the next DC, going into the top of there. And we're just going to carry on that all the way around, doing a single crochet into the top of the DC and a single crochet into the chain space. So when you get to the corner, you're going to, remember you've got your 3 DCs in the corner here. So what you're going to do is you're going to do a single crochet into this one, a single crochet into the chain space. Then in this middle one, we're going to do a single crochet, a chain 1 and another single crochet all into that space, and that's going to create our corner. So I'll show you on this one. So that will create our corner, and this is what it's going to look like. And you're going to just carry on round doing a single crochet into every DC and every chain space, except on that very middle DC of the 3 in the corner. And that middle one, you're going to do a single crochet, a chain 1 and a single crochet. And then when you get back to the beginning, you're going to do a slip stitch join, and that will be your motif for the 3, 4 and 5XL sizes. So same as with the middle size, you're going to make the right number of squares for the length that you want, 30, 36 or 42, and then you're going to block your motifs and join them into strips. Okay, so you've got all your squares made now and blocked. Make sure you block them, because honestly the difference is amazing. You might think that they're a bit wrinkly and weird looking at the moment and not really straight, but once you block them, they'll look like this, and then you're ready to start joining them together. So you're going to join them in strips first. So we want to join them as a slip stitch join, and you're going to do, if you're making the short length cardigan, you're going to join 5 in a row, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like across like that. And if you're making the medium, you're going to do 6, and if you're making the long one, then you're going to do 7. So you'll end up with 6 strips, and your strips will either be 5 squares long, 6 squares long, or 7 squares long. So we're going to join them. You can join them however you like, but I'm going to show you a just a slip stitch join, which I really like doing. So I've put the 2 squares facing each other, so the right sides are facing, and we're working kind of on the wrong side. And I'm just going to start straight away. So I'm going to insert my hook into the first, so you've got the chain on the corner, but I'm going to go into the loop closest to me of the first single crochet stitch that's not the chain stitch. So I'm going to go through the one that's closest to me, just through one loop, and then I'm going to go through the loop that's furthest away from me. So you're just working through one of the loops from each side. So I've put my hook through both loops, and I'm just going to put my yarn over and pull through. Make sure you leave a bit of an end for weaving in at the end, but we're just going to do it like that. And then you're just going to go into the next loop. So you can see the 2 loops of that stitch. I'm just going to go through that front one, the one closest to me, and then the back one of the other stitch, and then do a slip stitch. And that's it really. We're just going to carry on across the 2 squares, joining a stitch at a time. Make sure that you don't pull your slip stitches tight at all, because it will make your squares pucker up. So nice and loose, doesn't need to be tight at all. I really like doing it this way, this join. It gives a nice effect on the front, which I'll show you in a few minutes when I've done it. So you're going to do this for all of your squares, join them into strips, and then we'll need to add the front edging and the and then join all the pieces together after that. I'll just use my nail to kind of get into that front loop. It depends if you crochet tightly like I do, then it can be a bit hard to get through. I'm super excited about finishing this. Can't wait. Scissors are trying to join in, getting caught up in the yarn. So I was talking about blocking before. It's really important to block it. So how I do it is I pin the squares onto a foam board to the right size. So if you're making the smallest size, it's 5.5 inch for each square. For the medium one, it's 6 inches, and for the bigger one, it's 6.5. So that's what size your square should be. So I pin it onto the board at that size, and then I just spray it liberally with cold water and leave it. So I have it up in my loft room out the way, and I leave it for, well, at the moment it's summer at the moment and it's warm, so I leave it for just overnight, one night, and then it's dry. In the winter it can take a bit longer, but you're probably not going to be making a lacy cotton cardigan in the winter anyway, are you? Right, have I gone all through all of them? Yeah, I have. So that's it, that's the end. Just snip it off for now. We're going to have lots of ends to join in, but that's another day's problem. And there you have it. You see how nice a join it makes? I really like it. And once you've done each strip, you can block it again just to smooth down that join. Be really lovely. Okay, so I've got my long strips now, and I've started joining them together for the back panel. So you've either got strips of 5, 6 or 7 in a row, and then we're going to join 4 of those strips together to make the back panel. Okay, so it's essentially the same as how you were doing the individual strips, apart from it's longer, but there is a little bit that's a bit different when we go past the corners. So I'm just going to show you now. So as before, we're just slip stitching on the wrong side. So I've got the right side is on the inside between the two. Got 2 strips joined together here, and I'm just going to slip stitch into them. Just watch out when you get to the where you've got a join that you don't end up adding an extra stitch in, because that's a join, that's not an actual stitch. So skip that, and I'll put that one tight and skip that one as well. You kind of want to make sure all your ends are on the outside as well, so that you can weave them all in. You might have done that already if you are better organised than I am, and don't leave them all to the end and make it a massive job, which it is going to be for me. So just going to quickly whiz along this edge and then show you what I do for the corners, because we want to create a nice open pattern for each corner. It looks really lovely actually. Oh dear, keep losing the stitch. It's a problem, you try and make it too loose, you end up dropping stitches. So is that the last one? I've got one more like before, so you can see that that's the chain 2 there, and I've got one more stitch to go into there, and it should be the same on both sides. Okay, so we're at the corner now. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to slip stitch into one of the chains of the chain 2, and I'm going to just slip stitch down this side of this one. So you see I'm not going into that side at all, I'm just going down this side just to move around to the other side basically, and into that join and up the other side. Just keep slip stitching until you work your way back to the next 2 squares, and then you can join these 2 together if you can find them. There they are. So into that first single crochet of that square, and then find the first single crochet of the next square and slip stitch around, and I'll show you what that's done. So that's created that nice open. So if we'd just gone straight across or chained or something, we'd have had a closing in there, but because we slip stitched you can't see. So basically we slip stitched along, and then I slip stitched around the edge of one side just to move it, and then we're joining again. So you get that nice flower petal pattern in each corner now. Okay, so yeah, carry on, join all of your four pieces together to get the back panel. Okay, now I'm going to show you the edging of the front panel. So this is the extra small, small and medium size, and I've got my 5 motifs joined together, and I'm going to join my yarn into the very first stitch after the single crochet. This edging is slightly different for the 3 different motif sizes, and I'll show you quickly how to do each one. So we've joined our yarn, and I'm going to chain 4. Then I'm going to do a treble 3 together into the next 3 stitches. So just the same as we did for the middle of the motifs. And then I'm going to chain 5. So you'll probably recognize this pattern as the same as we've done before. So now I'm going to skip one stitch and do my single crochet into the next stitch and chain 5 again. I'll skip another stitch and do a treble 4 together into the next 4 stitches. And then we chain 5. So you can see the pattern already. And then I'm going to do a single crochet, skip one stitch and single crochet into the next stitch. Now watch out where you've got the join that you don't add an extra stitch. So 5 chains, and so that's not a joint, that's not a stitch, so we're skipping one stitch and doing our treble into the next one. So we're going into that one. Oh dear, dropped it. What's happening here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's putting me off that stitch. My yarn's got all tangled up. Right, so we're going to end up with 4 of these across, which is the same for all of the sizes. So you just keep doing your 4 together until you get to the end. Right, so I've reached the end. Okay. Have I missed one? I've missed one again. So don't forget to do your single crochet into there and keep the pattern going, not to mess it up like I did. It's talking and crocheting at the same time is hard work. Right, so this is the last treble 4 together. That's better. We've got to the end this time. And so when we get to the end, to the join, what we're going to do is we're going to skip the single crochet and we're going to skip the 2 chains. We're going to do our chain 5. And then we're going to do our single crochet into the join of the 2 panels, into that slip stitch join. Okay, and that's it. So for that row, so if you repeat that all the way across, and I'll see you at the end. Right, so I've gone all the way along now. I'm just doing my last chain 5, and then I'm going to do my single crochet into the very last stitch. So I'm going to do it into that corner space, okay? And then I am going to chain 6 and turn my work. So we're just going to work back across now, and we're going to be doing chain 6, and then we're going to join to the top of the treble 4 togethers all the way across. So it's just exactly like we did with the motifs. just a single crochet into the top and then a chain 6, and you see it's joining them across in a line. So if you do that all the way to the end, I'll show you the last stitch because it's slightly different. It's still the chain 6, but where we're going to put it is slightly different, so I'll show you that now. Okay, so I've gone all the way across now with my chain 6 and single crochet into the top, so I'm just going to do my final chain 6, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we're going to join that into that chain 2 space at the start of the row with a slip stitch. Okay, so then to start the next row, what we're going to do is we're going to slip stitch up so that we are, actually it's kind of easier to do it on the other way around, so that you are up level. So I do 3 slip stitches up to the level of the row, and then we're going to do a chain 1, and we're going to do 4 single crochets around the rest of that chain 6 space. Okay, and then in the next chain 6 space we're going to do 7 single crochets, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's quite hard to you have to kind of hold it whilst you're doing it to make sure it stays tight. I'm trying to show you so I keep my fingers out of the way, but it's quite difficult. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you're doing 7 in these 3 spaces. So you did 4 in that first little gap, and do 7, 7, 7, and then you do 8 on the join, and that's the same all the way across. So 7, 7, 7, 8 single crochets all the way across. And then the last chain space you've got, you're going to do 4 again like you did at the beginning. Okay, and at the end of that you should have 145 single crochets across. Okay, and then we're going to turn and we'll move on to row 4. So going to chain 1, then we're going to do a yarn over slip stitch into the back loops. Okay, and we're going to repeat this stitch for the next 8 rows, so rows 4 to 11. Okay, so what you do is you yarn over, you insert your hook into the back loop, yarn over, pull through, and then you pull through all the loops on your hook. So yarn over, insert into the back loop only, yarn over and pull through all loops. Okay, and you just repeat that all the way across into every stitch in the back loops only, and do that for 8 more rows, or until your front panel measures 8 inches wide. Okay, now I'm going to show you the front panel edging for the large, extra large and 2XL sizes. So we're going to join our yarn into the top of the middle stitch. And we're going to do an SC in that stitch. And then we are going to skip 1 stitch and chain 6, 4, 5, 6. So we're going to skip 1 stitch and we're going to do our treble 4 together into over the next 4 stitches. It's essential, so some of the stitches we're working into are going to be the chain spaces, okay? So you just work over the chain space. So this is essentially the same as the other one, but there are a few differences because the squares are slightly bigger. So we're next going to chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to skip 1 stitch, which is going to be the DC, and we're going to chain 1 in, single crochet into the chain 1 space, chain 5, skip 1 stitch, and then our treble 4 together. So just make sure you're not skipping any of these chain 1 spaces. When you're doing this, because it's very easy to miss them. Right, so next we're not going to chain 5, we're going to chain 6. And we're going to skip 2 stitches, so we're going to skip that chain 1 space and the DC, and we're going to go our single crochet into the next one. Then we're going to chain 6, and we're going to skip 2 again, and then we're going to do our treble into the next, treble 4 together into the next 4. Then we're going to chain 5 again and skip 1 and do our single crochet, chain 5 again, skip 1 and do our treble 4 together. The yarn's getting in the way of me. Right, and then we are going to chain 6, and then we're going to do our single crochet into the slip stitch join. Now I haven't got that to show you, but it's the same as we did before, into that join, well, on the other side, into the join between the 2 squares. Okay, so that is your repeating pattern. So you chain 6 at the start and the end, you chain 5 in these 2, and you chain 6 in this middle one. This middle one you're skipping 2 stitches, and these ones you're skipping 1 stitch. And then for the after you've done your slip stitch join, you're going to be skipping 2 stitches, okay? And then your final single crochet right at the end is going into that last middle corner DC, and then you're turning, okay? So I'm going to show you as if we were I'd got to the end. So I've done my single crochet into my last middle DC, and I'm going to turn my work. So then I am going to chain 7. So chain 7, then we're going to do a single crochet into the top of the treble 4 together, and then we're going to chain 6, and a treble, a single crochet into that top. Then it's 7 again, 5, 6, 7, and then it's 6 again. So it's just repeating across. You start with 7 chains, and then you do 6, and then you do 7, and then you do 6. That's my 6. And then we end with a 7. And we slip stitch into the top of that single crochet that we made before. Okay, so that will be your pattern. 6, then what was it, 7, then 6, and 7, then 6, and 7, then 6 across, and the final one is a 7, and we slip stitch into the top of the single crochet, and then we're going to turn and then we're going to slip stitch up 3 of our chains to get ourselves back to the right position. Okay, and then we chain 1, and we're going to do 4 single crochet into this first one. Okay, and then we're going to do 7 into the next chain space, so 7 single crochet around this chain space. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then we're going to do 8 single crochet around the next one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Next we're going to do 7 single crochet around here. And then in the final one, which will be the join between the two motifs, we're going to do 9 single crochet into that space. Okay, but as this is now my end stitch, so you're going to repeat. So you do 4 to start with, then you do 7, 8, 7, 9, 7, 8, 7, 9 all the way across, and then in your final chain space you're going to do 5, which if you add up the first space and the last space you get 9, which is the amount between the two. So that's our 5 there. So then we're going to chain, turn, and I'm going to chain 1, and we're going to do a yarn over slip stitch in the back loops of each stitch across. So I'm going yarned over, going into that back loop only, yarn over and pull through, and then pull through all the loops on your hook, and that's it. So yarn over, insert into the back loop only, yarn over and pull through all the loops. And we're going to do that all the way across, and we are going to repeat that for 10 13 rows. So rows 4 to 13, you're going to repeat yarn over slip stitch all the way across. So until your front panel measures 8.75 inches wide. And then you're going to repeat that for your second panel. And I would also recommend blocking both panels before moving on to joining. Okay, now I'm going to show you the front edging for the large motif. So that's the 3XL, 4XL, 5XL size. We're going to join our yarn to the first single crochet at the bottom corner of one of your 2 front panel strips, just like with the other 2 sizes. Then we're going to do a single crochet in the first stitch. I'm going to skip 1 stitch. We're going to do 6 chain, and then we're going to do our treble four together over the next 2. So we're skipping 1 and we're going into this one. And doing our treble four together just like before. Okay. And then we're going to chain 5. I'm gonna skip 1 stitch and do our single crochet into the next one and chain 5. And we're going to skip 1 stitch again and do our treble 4 together. And then we're going to chain 6. And we're going to skip 2 stitches and do a single crochet into the next stitch. Then we're going to chain 6. Skip 2 more stitches and then do our treble 4 together. Oh dear, messed that one up. Okay. Then we're going to chain 5. Going to skip 1 stitch, do our single crochet in the next stitch, chain 5, skip 1 stitch and do our treble 4 together in the next, over the next 4 stitches. And then we're going to chain 6. Okay, and then we're going to join into the slip stitch join, which is between the 2 motifs. If you imagine there's motifs next to each other. So it's the same pattern as before. We do chain 6 and we skip 2, then we do our 4, then we do a chain 5 and skip 1, chain 5, and then we do chain 6 and skip 2 in the middle. So you're skipping 2 in the middle and 2 at the edges. So you'll be skipping those 2, and then you'll be doing your single crochet into the slip stitch join. And then when you get to the end, you're just going to single crochet into the last stitch. So imagine I've got all my 5 panels joined together, and do that single crochet, and then we are going to turn. I'm going to chain 7, and we're going to do our single crochet into the top of that treble 4 together. And then we're going to chain 6, and join into the top of that treble 4 together with a single crochet, then chain 7. So that's our repeat. We chain 7, we chain 6, we chain 7, we chain 6, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you're basically doing 7 chains when you've got gaps of 2, and 6 chains when you've got gaps of 1. All the way across, okay? And when you get to the end, you're going to do a chain 7. And you're going to join into that single crochet that you made at the bottom there with the slip stitch. Okay, and then we are going to turn. So if you've watched the other sizes, you'll recognize this already. So we're going to slip stitch up the first 3 stitches till we get level with the top. And then we're going to do 5 single crochet in this first space, chain 1, then 5 single crochet in this first space, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you're going to do 7 single crochet in the next space, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then the next space you're going to do 9 single crochet, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Then we're going to do 7 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then you're going to do 10 over the gap between the slip stitch join. So imagine I've done that, and you go across and you do 10, then 7, then 9, then 7, all the way across, and then in your final chain space you're going to do 5, so that makes your 10 all together. 2, 4, 5, and you should end up with 165 single crochets all the way across. And then you turn and chain 1, and then we're going to do our yarn over slip stitch in the back loops. So yarn over, insert your hook into the back loop, yarn over and pull through, and then pull through all of those loops. And repeat again, yarn over, pull through, and pull through all of those loops. Yarn over, insert into the back loop only, yarn over, pull through, and pull through all those loops. And you're going to repeat that all the way across the row. That's row 4, and you're going to do that for up to row 13. So that's a total of 10 rows of yarn over slip stitch, or until your front panel measures 9 inches across. Okay, And once you've done that, block your panels and repeat on the second front panel so that you've got 2 front edges, and then you'll be ready to join everything together. If you're making your panels, your cardigan longer, you're going to have 6 or 7 panels, motifs long along your front panel and your back panel, and so your stitch count for your border is going to be more, so make sure you do the right number. Okay, we're now going to move on to joining. We're going to seam the shoulder seams, so you should now have 2 front panels with a front border like this, and a back panel which has got which is 4 panels, 4 strips wide. Okay, it's a bit hard to handle now. So what you want to do is you want to lay your back panel out, and you're going to lay your front panel onto it so that the right sides are facing each other, so we can see the wrong side here, and the edging is in the middle, not on the outside edge. Okay, so I'm just going to put a few stitch markers in to join them together, because we want to make sure that they line up quite nicely. So I'll put one in the corner, and I'm going to put one in this next corner here, because those 2 squares should line up. And then I'm just going to line these up. Make sure you don't stretch it, just line it up nicely, and put a final stitch marker in that final corner. Okay, so you will end up with a gap between your 2 panels. So I've done my first panel already, so you'll have a gap for your neckline like that, and that's completely correct. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to do a slip stitch join to join these 2 together. So you can start either way up, doesn't really matter. I'm going to start here and put my hook through. So I'm going to do it the same as I did it before, going through the back loop, well, the front loop of the one nearest me and the back loop of the one furthest away, but just be careful because the stitches aren't going to exactly line up along the first edge, so you're going to end up kind of having to make it work out. Oh dear, it's too heavy to fit on the page, on the table. Right. So I'm just going to join my yarn in here, and then I'm just going to do a slip stitch join like we did before. So slip stitch into that one and then into the one on the other side. And it's going to go into that loop so that I can go into the stitch on the other side. So do this all the way across. Obviously this will join your shoulder seam for your cardigan, and then I'm going to show you how to join the side seams. And we're getting there. So obviously, as I said, if you're doing a different size, it will look slightly differently, but you still should have a gap for your neckline, and you should still have 4 motifs along the back and 1 on each front panel with a front panel edging on each. Okay, so I've got to the end of my shoulder seam now, so I'm just going to cut that off and pull it through. So that's all joined on like that. And then we're going to move on to the side seam. So what you're going to do is you're going to line up your edges so your motifs line up, and you're going to mark 1.5 motifs down from the top shoulder seam, and that is the size of your armhole. Now you might want to try that on just to see if that's the kind of size that you would like. If you'd like it bigger, then feel free to make it bigger. If you'd like it smaller, make it smaller. Just adjust it to fit your own body. But it should be around 1.5 motifs across. And then you're just going to do a slip stitch join. You can start at the bottom or start at the top. I'm going to start in that bottom corner, going through that very first stitch, just the back loop, well, front loop on this side, back loop on the far side, the outside loops I should say, to make that lovely seam. So it's exactly the same as we've done before. And also when you get to the edges going around the motifs, when you get to this bit here, just slip stitch around this side of the front piece, just around it, so that you keep that lovely open lattice pattern that we've had before when we were joining the other motifs. And that's it really, just join it all the way along, and I'll see you when we get to the end. And then we just need to add a few more edging details and then we'll be finished. Excited to see what it looks like and get wearing it. Okay, so you should have now joined all of your shoulder seams and your side seams, so you should have a cardigan. Try it on, make sure it fits, and then we're going to do some edging around these armhole openings. Okay, so it's a bit hard to see. Try and get everything else out of the way. This is my armhole, so I'm going to join my yarn at the bottom. Okay. And I'm going to chain one, and then I'm going to do yarn over slip stitch in the back loops only all the way around, just like we did for the on the front panel edging. So that's fairly straightforward, just into each armhole stitch all the way around. And I'm just gonna go to one of the motif joins and show you how we're going to do it there, just to even up the stitches and make it look a bit nicer, a bit more finished off. So I've got to a join now, so is that my last stitch? Yep. So I'm then going to go into the chain and just carry on and into the next one, just to even it out, and then I'm going to go into the first chain of the other side and the next chain of the other side, if I can get in there. Oops, got an extra loop somehow. Which loop do I want? That one, the one that's not coming. Right, so you see that's kind of closed that hole up. Okay, so just carry on all the way around. When you get to the end, slip stitch to join to your first stitch, and then turn and chain one and do one more round of yarn over slip stitch for the armhole opening. We're then going to do the same on the bottom. So you're going to join your yarn to this bottom corner, whichever side, depending if you're right or left-handed, so that you can work on the right side of your garment, and go all the way across with yarn over slip stitch there as well. And then we will nearly be done. How exciting! Okay, so I've gone all the way along the bottom edge now, starting at one corner and going all the way to the other corner. It will be different depending if you're left or right-handed. And I have got to the corner, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do a chain one, and then I'm going to turn and I'm going to work all the way around the neckline. So I'm going to go with a yarn over slip stitch again into the back loops all the way around. Oops. So you work all the way up this side, then you're going to work into the top of the neckline here, and then back down the other side. And when you get back down to the other side, you'll be back at the beginning where you started this yarn over slip stitch border. So then you can do a slip stitch join. You can chain one and you can turn your work, and then you can do a whole nother row all the way back round, and then that will be you with your cardigan finished. So there you have it. The Blossom Breeze cardigan, Cardi, is complete. I really hope you've enjoyed watching this video. Hope you've made yours. Share in the comments below and hit subscribe, and I hope to see you again for another video soon.